this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Hope you're okay today. Having a nice day. I'm filming this on Sunday the 5th of February and the sun is shining. I can see out of my window. It's a beautiful day here. So yeah, I hope it's the same with you. Okay, today we are going to be making a cover for a notebook, which is going to be for one of my new team members. I've been really lucky to have several team members join me during this celebration, which is absolutely great. This one is for Val. I hope she's received it before this video goes out. I need to make sure I get it in the post quite promptly. But yeah, I thought I'd just show you how I did it. Now, I've shown you a couple of others. They're on my blog and they're just on my blog. They're not on my video channel. I've shown you a couple of them that I've made, but this one's going to be different because I made one for a male member of my team. So that was quite different because I used the backs of the DSP, not this back, but there are some, there's a starry sky pattern on the paper that I used. But for the female one, I used this paper. And there was a blank space up here and I could put her name. And sadly, this is the only piece of this paper I've got left. And as you can see, it's not big enough. So I've had to come up with a different design for this one. So I'm going to use a different paper. I'm going to use this one with lots of little flowers on. We're going to cover the cover and then we're going to make a little plaque with her name. And it's going to say Val's Notes. So that's what we're going to do. So first of all, I'm going to cut some cardstock. And I'm going to measure first of all, so that I know what size I need my cardstock. Make a note. So whatever notebook you're using, and obviously yours will be different to mine, so don't worry, you know, about the measurements that I'm using, but I'm going to do 13.5 centimetres. If you can see from there to there is 13.5 centimetres. And then downwards it is... I just want a little bit of a border. How much do I want? About 20.5. That will give me quite a good border there. And then with the neck, I'm going to do 2 layers. I'm going to do rich raspberry and then I'm going to do olive green. Old olive. Get it right. Okay, so bring in my trimmer. I need to trim this down. I do first. I'll trim this down to 13.5 first. Like so. If you want this, if you do want the imperial measurements, it's about 5 1/4, but it will depend on the size of your notebook. So, and then this one needs to be 20 centimetres. So we'll do that across there. So then what I want is a piece of olive green that's going to make a tiny, tiny border. So I'm going to do it 1/2 centimetre smaller than this. I'm going to do it, rather than 13.5 by 20, I'm going to do 13 by 19.5 for my olive green. So... Oh, let's do this side first. What is it? 19.5. Let's do that bit first. That'll be easier. 13, I said, didn't I? Yeah. It's dreadful. I have to write it down these days. I can't hold it in my head for any amount of time. Sign of getting old, I think. There we go. So this should layer quite nicely. Yeah, that's quite nice. I only want a very thin border there, and that's then going to layer onto the front of my notebook. But then the star of the piece is going to be this paper, which again I'm going to cut 1/2 centimetre, so it's going to be 12.5 this way. And do bigger borders if you want, obviously, don't have to stick with me, and 19 this way. So this is, oh, it's really pretty though, this paper. I like this paper. It's going to layer onto there. Just make sure the borders are all okay. Lovely, like so. Yeah, so it's a really nice way to pretty up quite a boring notebook, really. You know, use whatever supplies you've got. It doesn't have to be this DSP. You might have pattern paper in your stash you could use. This is just our multi-purpose glue, Tombow, which goes a long way. So it's is it £4.75 still? I can't remember how much it is, but it does go a long way. So you won't be buying it every 5 minutes. You can see by my videos that I use mine a lot, and I don't often have to replace it. But I do. I'm very careful with it. I don't ever use great big globs of it. I use a tiny amount. And then this is going to layer on top as well. Just get all those borders right, like so. So yeah, you can use any side of this DSP, but I do like the floral side. I think it adds interest. Oh, after saying I don't use great big blobs of glue, I've got a great big blob of glue there. Hey ho. Let's give that a try. Hoping that's not all going to ooze out. There we go. Right, now then, what I'm going to do with the panel is I'm going to do, what it is somewhere, there we go. I've got a piece of our craft card. So this is on, I've written a note here, page 139 of our annual catalogue. Comes in a 6x6 pack. Haven't really used very much of it, but it's really nice. It's not too thick, so it wouldn't be very good for card bases, but it's great for layering and things. And that's going to be a panel on here, but again, I'm going to do the same borders as I've done here. What I might do before I do that is just glue this onto the front here, like this, so that's out of the way. And that can be drying while we're doing the rest. So yeah, I really like this technique for just prettying up a notebook. And then you don't have to buy expensive notebooks. You can buy cheap. Well, I'm not saying this was cheap, especially if my team member is watching, but cheaper, not an expensive notebook. But you can make it really personal, which is lovely. And of course, with our a la mode alphabet dies, that just makes that such a cinch. I love alphabet dies, but I particularly love these new a la mode ones. I like the tall, skinny format of them. There, so that's our notebook. Right, so what I'm going to do, I have die cut all the letters I need, and I have even die cut from the set a tiny apostrophe, which I've been living in dread of losing, which is here. I'm just going to put that there. Oh, come on. Tiny apostrophe, because I'm going to write Val's notes on here. So let's just find the V, which is there. So I want to get a straight line to line these up. So there. So this is just a bit of post-it tape. It's not actual proper post-its because they stopped making it, but it's another make that I found on Amazon, and it's really useful. Right, and then what I want to do, I've got an arrow here, which I don't want. I've obviously used this piece of tape before, and I'm going to mark the centre of this, which is 5.5. I might cut it down after, but I just need to know the centre. Now, I've got 4 letters here, so 2 either side. So I've got Val's, V-A-L-A, V-A-L. And then there's going to be apostrophe. And that will make sure that you're nice and centred. So Val's, there's room for the apostrophe there. So I think some of the letters are slightly wider than others. I think the S is wider than the L. So you might need to take that into account as you're doing it. Right, so what I'm going to do is take my letters and glue them down. So we're more than halfway through Celebration now. So this paper, the Dainty Flowers paper that I'm using to decorate the journal, you've only got another 3 weeks or so to earn that for free. You just spend £45, which I know in this day and age is not just £45, it's quite a lot of money. But if you are thinking about buying from the catalogue, it's worth doing it now so that you can choose a free gift rather than waiting until March when you won't get a free gift. And they've just released, if you don't like anything in the celebration brochure, or you already spent and got all the things you wanted, Stampin' Up have just released a few more items, which are things from the annual catalogue. So there's an embossing folder, there's a couple of kits that you can get free, which would be great, because I find those kits are great for presents, for gifting to people who might not necessarily be particularly crafty, but those kits contain everything they want, and they could just knock up a few cards or some boxes or whatever's in the kit, and that works out really well. And if you're getting it for free, what a bargain is that? Right, let's put the S and then we'll do the apostrophe. So I just wanted to show you the process for lining these up, because it can spoil the look of something if they're not quite lined up properly. And this paper post-it tape just gives a nice ledge to just lean them on if you like. Right, here's my comma. So just a tiny bit of glue on there. And then there. Right, so that's there. And now I'm going to bring one of the other letters in. I want to keep this as compact as possible. So I want this to be butting up against there, with not too much of a gap. And then I'm going to replace my post-it tape. Now, obviously it's moved now, so my arrow's not in the right place. But I'm going to measure this, which is 5. So 2.5 is the centre. So if I take that down, that's the centre. Now, so when I do notes, N-O-T, the T is going to go in the middle. Wrong side. T goes in the middle. O. Just going to eyeball this and see if it looks good before I stick any of it down. There we go. Yeah, I think that's looking good. What do you think? Yeah, so I'm going to glue from the T so I can centre it and then glue outwards. So sometimes these things look like they're just shoved together, but actually a lot of thought and whatever has gone into the placement and making sure they're symmetrical and whatever, making sure they're straight. There we go. But yeah, these letters die cut beautifully. The card just falls out of them when you've cut. You don't have to do any encouragement. And they really are one of the nicest alphabets, I think, that we've ever had. I've just made my daughter a new home card, which I will show on my blog at some stage. With her, she's moved into an address which is 39 Bloomfield Road. So I've just done a 39 and printed Bloomfield Road underneath. So I cut out 39 with the dies and then printed Bloomfield Road underneath. So it's a personalised new home card. So that's all very exciting. That's the first of my children who have bought their own house. So I'm hoping the other two, who are younger to be fair, but I'm hoping that they will eventually be able to afford to do that as well, because it just seems to me such a waste of money paying rent. My youngest daughter is living back here with us, so she's saving furiously for a deposit, not paying us the going rate in rent. Right, there we are. So there's Val's notes. So what I'm going to do now is chop that down. I'm going to take my trimmer. Just going to trim a little bit off the bottom there. Like so. And then trim the sides as well. As close as I can get. I don't want a big border. And then like so. So that's going to go on our notebook, but I am going to do a border around it like we did. So like I said, so what does this measure? Oh, I just need to rub out that pencil mark I made in the middle before I forget. There we go. Right, this measures, and of course yours will be different again because you'll be using different names, maybe different words. This measures 7.4. Oh, lost a bit of paper. So 7.4 by 8.6. So if I want to take them up by half a centimetre, it'll be 7.9 by 9.1 is what I need to cut. But I'm going to do that size in the old olive, and I need to grab another piece of old olive. I've used it. I think that might be big enough. Is it going to be big enough? Yeah. So let's cut this down. 9.1 by 7.9. So that again should layer on there quite nicely, yep. And then the last one we need, I'm going to take it up again, so we're going to do 8.4 by 9.6. Which way do I want to do this yet? And that do 8.4 by 9.6. There we go. Like so, and we're just going to layer those all up and glue it to the book, and then Val's notebook is ready to be posted to her with the rest of her welcome to the team pack, which will always include a card and some sort of hand packaged sweet treat, and quite often I put in a notebook. It depends. Sometimes when people rejoin my team, I don't redo a notebook, so I might find something else to put in a welcome pack. There we go. Oh, that's looking quite nice actually. So yeah, it's always lovely to welcome people to my team. Remember, you get a discount. So it's actually discount off the price without VAT. So if something is £10, you have to take £2 off to take the VAT off, then work out your 20% discount. So it's 20% off £8, which I think is £160. And then you have to put the VAT back on. So it's about 16% is the actual discount that you get. Right, oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Val's notes, yes, quite pleased with that. Hope she's going to like it. Hope she's going to use this book. It's quite a nice lined notebook, and I like a spiral bound book so that it lays flat when you're working with it. Quite like that. If anybody's wondering, if you're in the UK, I bought it from Hobbycraft. So I'm sure there's lots of other stationers and things that you could buy from, but I just happened to see these and I bought a whole pile of them ready for my new team members. There. And that's that notebook done, and I will of course make her at the moment I'm just wrapping a chocolate bar in just a sheet of paper and putting a little tag on it for the chocolate treat, but then I'm also doing a card, and I will show you the cards that I've been making later on. So thank you for watching today. Hope you've enjoyed watching me and listening to me ramble on. I'll be back really soon. If you want to purchase anything, if you want to place that £45 order, link to my shop is below, so just click there and have a browse and see if there's anything that grabs your fancy. Thanks very much for watching, and of course if you use my code as well, you get a free gift next month as well. So what's not to like about that? You don't get a free gift from many other places, I don't think. So yeah, anyway, that's it from me. Thanks very much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.